Hello and welcome, dear students of class 11th. Today we are going to continue the chapter titled Appa Mum. So we are going to in this part we are going to cover up another section of the story. So please open your books at page number 64. We are going to read from the fourth paragraph. Don't have any nightmares. Grandfather called after him and everybody wrote. So what happened that the Appa mum he desired to go on a single day pilgrimage, and after a long hard day's pilgrimage he returned weary. He returned he returned this stout, and he said that I couldn't eat anything. But when he said so, the grandmother naturally obviously asked that I had sent you specially made cooked rice. So Appa ma'am said that yes, it was with me, but I gave it to a fellow pilgrim. So after that, he said that now I want to take my bath, have my dinner, and sleep. So when he said that, he was almost halfway through the stairs, and he was going to the first floor. So when he was going, grandfather said this. Don't have any nightmares. Grandfather called after him and everybody wrote. Okay, so when he was going, grandfather said that please don't have any nightmares, and all the family members they laughed when the grandfather made such a statement. Appa Mum's nightmare was part of the family legend that was later to accrue around him. So Appa Mum having nightmares was a very common behavior, was a very common thing for the family members, and this was such a phenomenon, such a regular happening that it would continue to grow with his image, continue to advance with his image. His previous visit had been rather a long one, and it also happened that his previous visit, like when he left the house the last time, that visit was a long one. No one had seen him for 3 years, and it was almost 3 years that he didn't return, and nobody see him anywhere. And then one night, when the boys were away at college and my grandparents had gone early to bed, a dark figure appeared at the gate. So only it happened that one night, what happened that when the boys had gone for the tuition or gone for the night classes, and the grandparents were almost asleep, a figure appeared at the gate. A dark figure appeared at the gate of the house, calling hoarsely, and it started hoarsely calling what? Calling the name of the grandmother. Primavati. My grandmother woke up with a start. So on hearing her name, and that too in the dark of the night, and also in a hoarse voice, she woke up with a start. She woke up suddenly. She woke up and with a sudden suddenly she woke up and was terrified for a moment, and then she was terrified, she was afraid for a moment, until grandfather woke up too, and she was terrified and she was afraid, and like a few moments later grandfather also woke up and saw who it was, and he found out that it was Appa Mem. So he became relaxed and said, oh, you old burnt face, have you come back again? So this is you, oh burnt face, you have come back again. As we have read in the story that old burnt face is another epithet for the Appa Mum. So he said that Appa Mum or old burnt face, you are back again. Appa Mum had not only come back, he had even brought with him the 25 rupees he had taken from grandfather's desk. So Appa Mum had not only come back, but he was having him with him. He had not only come back, but he was carrying with him the 25 rupees note he had taken from the grandfather's desk. During his last visit, when he went out of the house for the last time, he took some money from the grandfather's desk. The uncles decided later that it was probably this extreme act of virtue which brought on the nightmare. So the uncles who used to play with the grandfather, they decided that because of such kind of a virtue, these nightmares were coming to the Appa Mum. Whatever the cause, the fact remained that grandfather woke up at night to find Appa Mem yelling some gibberish and dancing like a dervish around his bed. So what happened that whatever the cause would be for the nightmares of the Appa Mom, but it happened that once grandfather woke up at midnight and he found that the Appa Mem was making some some gibberish talk, that is some irregular, some uncomprehensible talk, and he was dancing, he was revolving around grandfather's bed. Appa, he said suddenly, stop it. So grandfather tried to stop Appa Mem. He said that, Appa, stop it. Why? What do you think you are doing? Waking up everybody at this time of the night. So he tried to give some sense to the Appa Mem. He said that, what are you doing at such a night? And you are waking up with your noise, you are waking up all the members of the family. But Appa Mem continued to yell and wave his arms and dance around the bed. But Appa Mem didn't pay any heed to his alarm, didn't pay any heed to his statements, to the grandfather's statement, and he continued to make noise, and he continued to shake his body, wave his arms. Appa, grandfather said louder. Appa, stop it. So this grandfather became a little angry, and he was he was not being able to control himself. So he said that, Appa, stop it. Now it's time, you should stop it. You are disturbing everyone. Even that had no effect. So he finally got up and gave Appa Mom a resounding thrash on his back. So and even he's saying it so loudly, even he's saying it with so much anger, couldn't stop Appa Mom. So what the grandfather did was, he gave a this resounding thrash. He gave a big thrash, big slap on the grandfather's back. At that, Appa Mom stopped abruptly, sat down on the bed and opened his eyes. When he did that, when he slapped the grandfather, slapped Appa Mom, he stopped abruptly. He stopped whatever he was doing. He suddenly stopped, and he, for the first time, opened his eyes. And grandfather discovered the man had been asleep all the time. So when Appa Mem opened his eyes, then only the grandfather knew that Appa Mem was asleep, that Appa Mem was sleepwalking, that he was doing all these activities in his sleep. So, good God, I might have killed you. What on earth were you doing? So after that, grandfather took a breath of respite, and he said that, what were you doing? I might have killed you if you had continued to do this kind of weird dance and made this kind of noise. I would have killed you. Appa Mem sat and looked at grandfather in silence. So Appa Mem was feeling so shocked that he almost woke up from the sleep, and he was not able to understand anything. So he just sat on his bed and he looked at grandfather, thinking of an explanation, and he tried to make some explanation about his actions, about his this foolish act he was doing. Eventually he found it. So eventually he thought of an idea, thought of an explanation, thought of an excuse, and said, cats. He said, that's what it was. You don't keep cats. He said that cats, it was because of the cats, because you are not keeping cats. And he went to bed. He went to bed. And after saying that, after saying such kind of a incomplete sentence, such kind of a illogical sentence, he went back to bed. He never heard the end of it, and never did we. So after that, the grandfather was not able to listen to the complete explanation given forward by Appa Mem, and so does the family members never understood, never got to know the exact explanation which Appa Mem gave to the grandfather. There was a new game in the family after this, evolved by the youngest generation, called Appa Mem's Nightmares. So as habitual of children, they started making fun of this act. They started making fun of this incident. They made it a habit, made it a usual. They made it a usual practice of themselves to enact a play, enact a drama around this incident. So they termed it Appa Mom's Nightmare. with one playing grandfather, the other taking Appa Mom's role, and the smallest being the cats that weren't. So one would play the role of grandfather, another would play the role of Appa Mem, and the youngest children would play the role of the cats, which were not there. That means the reason because of which Appa Mem said that you don't have cats, that why I was having these kind of nightmares, such kind of a illogical, uncomprehensible sentence. Listening to that story, I had felt vaguely sorry for Appa Mom, but having nightmares, So, like when I listened to this story, I felt a little sorry for Appa Mom because he was having such kind of nightmares. But apart from the fact that he did not seem to be afflicted by them anymore, seeing him now, it was as difficult to pity him as to condemn him. So, but when I see him now and I found that he is not having those nightmares now, and so when I see him now, it's completely difficult whether I should pity him or whether should I condemn him or criticize him or jibe him. And though I still could not decide about his identity as a real sannyasi, it was equally difficult to make an enigma out of it. So it was extremely difficult, and the writer and the narrator still couldn't make his make his beliefs make his like stand about whether Appa Mam is a real sannyasi or not. So he was not able to do that, and he was not able to understand Appa Mam correctly. He continued to be Appa Mam, cheerful and happy-go-lucky, unconcerned about any of the things that worried other grown-ups, and deriving immense satisfaction out of just being alive. So Appa Mem stayed what he is, weird, unfathomable, unexplainable, strange kind of a person, and he always remained cheerful as his was habit, and happy-go-lucky. And he stayed unconcerned about things about which other grown-ups are so concerned, so worried about how to feed the family, how to meet the daily expenses, what to eat, what to earn, how to earn, etc. So Appa Mom was above such trivial concerns, above such trivial pains or tensions. So, and he was having all the immense pleasure because of his being alive. He was enjoying his life to the utmost level. And then one day the disciples came. Kupu saw them first. So one fine day the disciples, the followers of Appa Mam came, and Kupu, who was the dishwasher, who was the servant at their house, she saw them first. A motley collection of people peering in dubiously at the gate. So the followers of Appa Mam was a collection of different kind of people who were at the gate, and they were looking inside and wanting to know if the sannyasi was at home, and they were eager to know whether the sannyasi was at home or not, and if they might obtain his darshan, and if it is possible that they can get a darshan, they can get to see the sannyasi, his personal blessing, and to get his blessings and to get his prayers. She brought the news to us at breakfast, all agog with excitement. So this lady, whose name was Kupu, she brought this news to the family members. All the family members, they were sitting together and they were having their breakfast. So this lady brought the news to them that Appa Mam's disciples are at the gate. And everybody was so excited, everybody was full of excitement. Appa Mam swallowed his coffee and said with composure, "Ah, yes, my disciples." So Appa Mam, who was having his coffee, he quickly swallowed his coffee and said with some sort of calmness that, "Ah, yes, my disciples. Ah, yes, my followers." So this was all for today's online class. We will try to finish the remaining section of the story in the upcoming video lesson. Thank you so much for watching.